What's going on, everybody, and welcome to Legacy's Journey, where we talk about creating what outlives you. I'm your host, Cameron Williams, owner of Kinley Consulting, where we focus on strategic financial growth for marketing agencies so that they can live the dream life they deserve and not be a slave to their business. And we do that through consulting and CFO services. Now, I told y'all this season 2, aka $1 Million Agencies. So, y'all know, if you don't know, I do a lot of traveling because I feel like if you're going to niche down and help whatever industry you choose, you should be able to speak their language. You should be able to know like what softwares they like to use and all of that. And of course, we know that a huge software that a lot of marketing agencies like is GHL, aka Go High Level. So last year in 2023, I went to I think it was their third conference, second or third. And there was this guy up there, and y'all know we talk about some of everything on here. We keep it real. And it's not that many African Americans that get on the stage and are doing it at a high level, especially at a lot of these events. But there was one. Well, there were two technically, but this one, I was like, okay, he was sharing his story. So I waited a little bit, we connected, and then I was like, bro, why don't I just get you on the podcast and we can chop it up? So I had to go get Andy, man, and I'm like, bro, you got to come on here. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to let him introduce himself. So tell the people, name of the company, how long you've been doing it, and what you do specifically.
So my name is Andy Ade. I run a company called Progretta, and it's the words progress daily mashed together. Progretta is our software. And prior to running the software, we ran our marketing agency, which is Audate Media. And our marketing agency, we did Facebook ads, marketing funnels, and online courses. We transitioned from marketing agency work, which is heavy fulfillment, into really just selling the software. And in that journey, we were able to create more revenue, streamline profits, and have predictable income every single month versus a marketing agency where you're constantly on the hunt or the chase for new customers. And so that's been my journey so far. And I started in the software 2021, and I started the marketing agency 2017.
Okay. Ooh, it's a lot right there. Okay. Everybody knows. I'm going to start taking notes because the gems is already coming. Okay. Let's start back 2017. So I think that was something super important that you said in that, okay, I had a marketing agency. We can tell, I'm sure, but you tell them it was successful. By all metrics, it was successful. Now, why did you feel the need to pivot from having a successful marketing agency?
Well, one of the reasons that I pivoted from a marketing agency, there's in the marketing agency, because you're in accounting, there's high revenue, but there's also high expenses. And a large portion of the expenses goes towards human labor. Not even software and technology, it's more so on human labor and taxes, right? But when I looked at the business model, I wanted to create a business model that created a lifestyle for me and that gave my team a tremendous amount of value and predictability. So what that means essentially is it was a lot of work, a lot of headaches, a lot of cost to run a marketing agency. And then when we transitioned to software, it was a numbers game that we were playing versus a volume game. So what I mean by that is we get more customers. The focus is on getting more customers rather than getting the most amount of money per person. It's about getting and acquiring more customers. So it's a different business model.
Right.
And I realized that business model was more suiting and fitting for my business and my brand and my lifestyle that I was looking to create.
So you're trying to tell me that you can make a lot of money and it not can match with your lifestyle. That's what you're really saying.
Yeah, for sure. It could not match. I'll give you a scenario. So the CEO of High Level, and if you don't know what High Level is a software that you can white label and resell as your own CRM system, and you can generate 100% of the revenue that is created from the software. So you can create 100% of the revenue. So meaning you can pay High Level, the actual company, as you being the customer, you can pay them $500 a month, and you can create unlimited accounts. And each account is assigned to a business owner that you sell the software to a business owner, and that business owner can pay you $500 per month or whatever you charge, and you keep 100% of that $500. So you can literally have 100 $500 paying customers, where 100 people are paying you $500 and you keep 100% of that money, and you can run that as your own business. So that was my transition. That's what High Level is. Now, in running the marketing agency, there was actually one incident that was a transformational point in time for me to understand the value of recurring revenue in small dollars. We had a customer in my marketing agency. We had a customer that paid us $40,000 for a service, and in that service that the customer paid us $40,000 for, it was to create an online course. And I was getting coaching. And this is the value of getting coaching, Cameron. I was getting coaching from the CEO of High Level. So he was right across from me. We were in Dallas, Texas at an event. And me and him were talking about growing the software. And I couldn't fathom the conversation in that specific moment was, I said, Sean, I can't fathom dropping a high ticket customer just for one customer paying $297. Like, I can't imagine saying no to $20,000 or $25,000 or $30,000 in a marketing service to get a customer paying you $297 a month. And I remember,
let's pause, because I think you're finna go somewhere real deep. Before we go there, why do you think that is? Because a lot of people would say, well, that's related to childhood and how you view money and things of that nature. So what from childhood makes you say, I'm not turning down 20 bands? Like,
well, first and foremost, let me see if I can turn off my notification. My team is
see, y'all, he busy. I'm trying to tell y'all, we go get real people that are really out here killing it. So y'all know what these notifications mean. Stop playing.
I don't even know how to turn off notifications on my laptop. But however, my childhood comes from if you have an opportunity, get it, like whatever it takes, whatever the number is. And I think that's where a lot of African Americans, Black folks like you and I, where we come from, typically, you got the family, you got the connections, you got the people in your neighborhood that are the hairdressers, the car fixer-uppers, they're the mechanics. Like they're everything under the sun when it comes down to a service that to make money. They can cut your hair, they can sell you shoes. Like I was one of those guys. I was a barber. I was a cell phone salesperson. I would get you the latest cell phone, and I was cutting your hair, and I was getting the latest sneakers. Whatever sneakers you want, I could get my hands on, and whatever electronics you wanted. So I would get you MacBooks. I would be that guy. Okay. And childhood shows me, hey man, go whenever you have an opportunity to make some money, go get it, because you don't know where your next dollar is going to come from. Right. It's a scarcity mindset. At least for my community, it's a scarcity, and I'm sure you can relate to a degree, Cameron, that it's a scarcity mindset. And if you are like, hey, let me go get it, by any means, whatever it takes. The problem with going and getting it with different ventures, if you're the hair person, you cut hair, plus you do nails, plus you do wash cars, plus you fix cars, plus you can fix people's houses and so on and so forth. You never set up an actual business. You never set up an actual system. And this is what I was getting coaching on. And here's the concept. This is what the CEO of High Level was telling me. He was like, hey, man, if you go get a customer at $297 a month, I said, stop it. Let me stop you right there. Let's do the math. Let's do the math. Right. If I have one customer paying me $40,000 up front, giving me 40 bands, boom, wire it in. And I get 3, 4, 5 of those in a month. And that's what I was getting, by the way, in the agency. I'm getting 3, 4, 5 of those in a month, paying me 40 bands to do a service for them. If I do the math, it's going to, for one customer that's paying me $297 a month on a software, it's going to take me 134 months or almost 11 and a half years to get back the same amount of revenue.
Right.
So that's what the conversation was. And I was trying to get him to, I was trying to understand what he was trying to tell me because it's not mathing for me. Then in the middle of the conversation, like when I tell you that God moves in mysterious ways.
He does.
Amen. In the middle of the conversation, my wife calls me, who was a project manager in my marketing agency, who was one of the project managers in the marketing agency. She led the project management team. She says, babe, I'm in the hospital. She was just doing a checkup. She was just doing a checkup. It was nothing serious, right? She was like, I'm in the doctor's office right now, and this one particular customer keeps calling me. Can you find out what's going on? So I called the customer and I said, excuse me, CEO of a $500 million company that is giving me coaching. Let me go handle this customer that you're telling me not to have. And I get on the call with the customer and I said, Mr. Customer, we have staff that are working 9 to 5 at the office. I'm currently in Dallas, Texas at an event. My wife's not in the office right now. Can you speak to someone on my staff that can answer your questions? And he says, no, I'm not going to talk to a subordinate. I'm going to talk to the CEO because I paid you the money. And it was in that moment where I realized as a business owner that my time was being bought. Even though I had the team, the systems, the processes, nothing that I could have done could have satisfied the customer compared to what my team could have done. My team could have answered the same questions, given the same results, and so on and so forth. And this question was really just a checkup on how the project was going. That's all it was. It wasn't anything like any problem. It was just a checkup of how the project was going. But the customer's perspective in this one scenario, his position was, I paid you $40,000. I want to talk to you and take your time. And that's when I realized I didn't have a business. I had a job. I had a glorified job that was paying me $6 figures a month. And that's when things pivoted. I handled the question, told them the project was going great, everything's on track, hung up the phone, and I realized I don't want to go back into this world of doing marketing services at a high ticket. I want to build a long-term sustainable business that doesn't even require me. And then I went back to the room to talk to the CEO, and the CEO let me know, like, that's why you go for 297 in volume. And that's when I said, oh, shit, it happened in real life, real time. And from that moment, that's when I focused on to create monthly recurring revenue through SaaS instead of services. And it's been a blessing, man.
Okay. So first off, shout out to Sean, shout out to Wifey. All right. So now you get this revelation, but you still have clients though at the agency. Mm-hmm. So what is the next move? Do we clean house and fire them? Do we just wait till the contracts run out? Do we transition them into this new model? Do we have to go learn this new model? What happens next?
So it was a tough pill to swallow, but some of the agreements we waited to contract, finalized. There are we still have clients on the agency services, but those clients are high ticket monthly, but there's low input. It's almost like SaaS. And if you know anything about the technology of high level, you can actually custom value, like you can create automations that update marketing campaigns every single month. So right. The client pays us $4,000 a month for a service to update and maintain their campaigns. We already set that on autopilot for the next 12 months. So it's going to update. There's no manual input for 12 months, but they're paying $4,000 a month because that's the value. They don't want to go into the software. They're willing to pay $4,000 to have someone just update campaigns for them. And then we just took a 2-day period. I had 2 developers update the sequences for the next 12 months, and it's automatically set up. So that to us is a $48,000 contract. That only took us 2 days to fulfill. And so those are the services that we have on the monthly, on the agency side. However, the clients that, I'll give you a scenario. We ran Facebook ads for different clients, and our vendor for the Facebook ads, we white labeled their service. So he would come in under and assume our brand, and he would maintain and run Facebook ads. He would charge me $700. I would charge the customer $2,500. And in the spread is what I keep making as profit.
Right.
We went to the customers and said, hey, great opportunity. You can work with this individual that you've been working with for the last 6 months. You can work directly with them. And instead of paying $2,500, you can pay $700. So this is how we started transitioning out. And most people look at us and say, that's crazy. But what it did is it freed up the time of the staff that I needed to focus on the software.
Okay. All right. Now, before we keep going with the story, we got to backtrack because you said Wifey's working in the business. So when you started this in 2017, you had to have gone to Wifey and said, hey, I'm thinking about starting a business. Her first thoughts were?
So I already had the agency in the business 2 years before I actually met her. So I met her in 2019, married her in 2022. And so we've been together since 2020. She entered the business in 2020. So today we're in 2024. So the last 4 years, she's been part of the business. Now, in our journey, when we did the marketing agency work, we had fluctuations with income. Mind you, in 1 month, I can get 3 customers, for example, to pay us $40,000, and we make 120 grand top line. Now, the next month, we're in the fulfillment of that 3 big ass projects, and which typically negatively impacted our revenue, where I'm not excited to go get another customer to pay us 40 grand in the second month because we're still in the fulfillment of the first 3. So if in January we get 3 big projects, each project is going to take us 3 months to finish, and we're doing it simultaneously. On the second month, we're not aggressively going after new customers. So what happened is that there would be a fluctuation of income and revenue, and all of it includes stress when you're running a marketing agency. So my wife decided, instead, took an opportunity in real estate. She went and started a real estate business. And in that journey, so she left the business because the marketing agency was actually stressful, believe it or not. It was actually stressful to run a marketing agency because you're dealing with Facebook ads, and Facebook switches this and Instagram switches that. And now it's our fault. It's our responsibility, which it is. And we become masters at that. But there are things outside of our control in running a marketing agency, from market being swayed by influencers on social media to technology failing, not the technology to run the campaigns, but like Facebook and so on and so forth. I remember there was an outage on Facebook one day when no one could log in, and it became our fault, right? So my wife said, hey, let me go into real estate. Let me go and experience real estate. She went into real estate, and this was in the interim of us changing our from marketing services to SaaS. So while she was in real estate, she was doing that for a while. She did great in real estate, use our technology to create leads and automatically follow up with people and do deals. But I went to her one day and I said, hey, babe, look at the monthly recurring revenue on just our SaaS. We can retire. You can be retired, babe. And she says, count me in. You even got to ask me twice. And so we retired her from real estate. She was only there for less than a year, but we retired her from real estate. And now she works inside of our organization full time. Just doing what she loves. She loves doing social media. So she manages social media content, and she makes sure that the house is taken care of. And, we travel more often because of the revenue that comes from the software.
Okay. So there was a lot there. See, I told y'all, man, we got these geniuses that's on here. Okay, we're not even going to get into multiple streams of income because she was doing real estate while you're doing the marketing agency. That's a whole different convo about generational wealth and multiple streams in case one struggles, etc. So shout out to Wifey for that. All right, let's keep going with the story. So
we're still doing the multiple streams, but here's what's different. We become money investors in them. We become money investors and system investors in them. So we invest our technology to help scale systems. So we just recently got back into the agency world. And the way that we did that, we just took the revenue that was coming in from the SaaS and we acquired a marketing agency to help our SaaS customers. We don't operate it. We don't run that business, but we own that business. And we own a portion of the revenue that comes from that business. We're in the process of owning our first real estate property, and it's coming from the revenue from the software. So we are still diversifying, but it's coming from revenue rather than manual or physical input. We hire other people to run those businesses.
All right, go there then. Because a lot of people, to your point, when you're coming from the struggle, when you're coming from like we wasn't broke, but we most definitely didn't have a ton of money. Going from that to now I have to make the mindset shift of allowing my money to work for me and employing people and SOP, systems, sales, all of the different things that come with running a business. Mentally for you, what was that transition like? I mean, now it's second nature, but okay, real estate. And then, oh man, we need to do leads, but we still got the marketing agency. But now Sean gave me this idea for SaaS. Like, how were you managing all of these different things while still moving forward at the same time?
In attempting to do it all is where we stayed small. So let me share with you an example. So in the marketing agency, we had a plethora of different services. You can hire a virtual assistant from us, and we would charge you a fee, a multi-$1,000 fee upfront as a setup fee, and then you would pay us a monthly recurring cost to maintain the relationship with your virtual assistant. If you don't know what a virtual assistant is, if you're watching this, a virtual assistant, you can hire someone from outside the United States and pay them an hourly wage, something of like $5, $10, $15 per hour, and get top talent outside the United States without having to pay United States wages. So if you want to hire someone in the United States to do something amazing for you, like a developer might cost you $35 to $45 an hour, but you can hire someone outside the United States for $10 an hour. So 25% of what you would pay in the United States. So we would connect different businesses with virtual assistants outside the United States. That's one of the services. We would run your Facebook ads. That's another service. We would create marketing funnels. That's another service. We would create email marketing campaigns. That's another service. So we would have this we'll create online courses. That's another service. We would have this plethora of services. What's different today is I just partner with different people and get a cut of the revenue instead of being responsible for fulfilling. So today we have multiple softwares. And Go High Level, I'm coaching. I have 280 people that I'm coaching right now to help them grow their SaaS. And the idea there is that I'm going to get a handful of them up to that 75,000 bucks in monthly recurring revenue. And then we're going to go as a portfolio to private equity firms and have them reinvest into our SaaS. And I can get a cut of every single person's SaaS that I help build up in the first place. So we're very streamlined and diversified, but it all stemmed from one thing. I just focused on my main software. I focused on my main business, built up systems in that business, built up income that flows in every single month. And I take that information, I, number one, share it to help make other people more revenue. So that way I can work with them long term. And then number two, I use that money to be able to grow other businesses without me having to spend any time whatsoever in those businesses. And that gives me a return on the money that I spent in that business. So I'm not hustling in all these businesses. I'm just investing, and I'm putting people that I train and I lead in my software business to check up on those companies to make sure that the deals are operating smoothly.
Okay, now let's go there. Now, earlier you mentioned mentorship. So you talked about Sean. If y'all don't know who Sean is, go look it up. One of the owners of High Level, super cool, chill dude. Talk to us about the importance, especially, and yes, we're going here this episode, so, we got a diverse audience, especially in being a minority, the importance of having a mentor that doesn't look like you. What do you think that did to help change your path or the road that you were trying to get to?
I think first and foremost, man, in this space that we're talking about, there wasn't a lot of people that looked like us in the first place. So that's one of the challenges, right? That's one of the challenges. Like, what does someone who doesn't look like us know that we don't know? And I can share with you for certain, I came in with the wrong mindset in the beginning. And I was very adamant about my mindset because the coaches, the leadership for example, at High Level were like, Andy, go get recurring revenue at a small dollar that doesn't take any of your time, doesn't take any energy from you, and just get people in droves and create deals that get people in droves. So that way you can create the level of recurring that you want to create. And I said, dude, the numbers don't make sense.
Math ain't math.
The math ain't math. So why would I leave $100,000 a month business to go sell someone at $200? That doesn't make sense. $200, dude, that doesn't make sense. But once I really understood, now you understand with accounting, there's variable expenses inside of a marketing agency, and it's based on your influx of customers coming in. So so you can't promise people, work. One month you have 10 projects. The next month you have 2 projects. You're still making income. You're still making revenue, but you have different projects that are at stake, right? So the graphic designer is needed in this project, but the graphic designer is not needed in that project. Video editor is needed in this project. Video editor is not needed in that project. 2 funnel designers needed in this project. 1 funnel designer is needed in the other. 6 funnel builders and project managers are needed in this project. 1 person is needed in the other. So I couldn't go to different people who were top talent and give them the right opportunity. So now they're jumping in between projects and different clients, right? Because they're freelancers. So now I'm playing this game that doesn't make sense for a long-term business because I can't keep and maintain the right top talent in a marketing agency. But in a software, it's the same group of people that come in. They work every single day, no matter how many new customers come in, because the whole entire process is automated. So that means my expenses is fixed. If I sell 100 new units in one day, if I sell 100 new units of our software today, nothing changes in my business. There's no additional expense that changes in my business that's not covered by the customer's revenue already. And the whole entire process is automated for the next 12 months. Their journey is all automated for the next 12 months because they get invited to the same Zoom call that's happening for a group, whether the group is 5 people or the group is 155 people. So the same process happens for the software. But in the agency world, The more customers you got, the more expenses because you need more people, you need more technology, you need more this and that. So I share that with you because from a math standpoint, the math was in my favor. I just didn't understand that game. I didn't understand what cash flow was, what churn was. I understood get money, put in your pocket, hustle, and figure out the taxes later. So even at a and I'm sure you can see this because even at a large revenue producing business, we were at $1.3 million in our marketing agency. Even at that level of revenue, we were still like, hey, we got to figure out a way for this taxes to get paid. We got to figure out a way for this taxes to get paid. Yeah. Then when we transitioned to SaaS, we caught up on our taxes. Everything's cleaned up for the taxes. And in addition to that, I remember getting at the end of this 2023, and I remember just paying my taxes on time in a large sum. And I was like, this is a good feeling. I put enough money to the side. My accountant's like, dude, my accountant is, I have a bookkeeper and a CPA. And my CPA is like, what in the world are you doing that's different? How did you decrease your expenses dramatically, increase your revenue? What is different from this business compared to the previous business? And I said, we just transitioned to low monthly recurring revenue because my CPA doesn't see the 297s. He just sees the batches from
yeah.
And that was a game changer for us, man. From a money perspective, the fact that every single day I got new income coming in, and all I'm doing is thinking strategically on how to add value to the customers that are already paying, which ironically just attracts new customers in the journey anyway. And the whole entire process is automated compared to a marketing agency where every new customer, there's an onboarding call. I got to meet with you. I got to answer questions for my team about you. It's a different journey. It's a different play. But for a long-term sustainable business, SaaS all the way.
Okay. Y'all heard all that. Okay. I want to ask. Okay. I think I want to go here. So you talked earlier about now you've acquired another agency so that way you can support them with your SaaS. And you talked about now starting to get into investing in the other businesses. Tell us what are maybe 3 things that when you want to go buy this company, what are 3 things they need to have in order to be the perfect purchase for you? Like when you got the marketing agency, this agency had to have.
The first thing was that the owner operator is someone who's coachable. That was the first thing. Someone who's coachable because technology is changing, processes are changing, but the mendability of an operator, someone who runs that business, the fact that they can mend and make changes, that's a huge shift. I remember when I came in and I started coaching this individual, and she was like, I'm game. I'll make those changes, whatever you need, like whatever makes more sense. And I said, put these numbers together. So I have her reading the book Profit First. If you know Michael Michalowicz.
Mike Michalowicz, we know about Profit First.
So I had her reading Profit First because we implemented that in our business many years ago. And I had her reading the book Profit First. Within a day, she's like, on the same call that I'm on the call with her. She's like, I said, get the book Profit First. She's like, okay. She's typing it. I'm thinking she's taking notes. She's like, I just ordered the book. It's gonna be here tonight. And I'm like, oh, okay. And then I said, hey, sometime next week, for example, this was a while ago. But she's like, I said, sometime next week, send me your revenue, your revenue and your expenses and what you want to do for the business. And she's like, hey, okay, sounds good. Next day, she sends me a recording. This is my current revenue. This is expenses. This is what's going on. This is what's in my books. This is where I project for us to be at. This is the way that I'm going to get there.
Okay, I like her. She on point with it.
I'm like, all right. I'm like, this is what needs to change. Professionalism needs to change. This is what needs to change. This is different things in the business. So from professionalism, how you show up, different technology that you need in the business, different processes that you need in the business. This is what needs to change. Within 2 weeks, all those processes, all those were already implemented. This was before an official acquisition. So I share that with you because that's the number one thing that I'm looking for because everything else can get fixed and pretty clear out. In addition to, of course, a business that's already generating revenue, in addition to a long-term retention on customers that's over 6 months in a marketing agency is ideal for us. So those metrics I'm looking at, but the biggest thing is the owner operator that can essentially listen and is open to making some changes.
Okay, now let's talk about the actual acquisition. Now you ain't got to tell us for how much. Keep that part out. But you acquired this company, and now you are now able to do what? Because we've talked about it on the podcast before, where a company may be undervalued. They may say, "Oh, we only want." I'm just throwing a number, 250 grand, and you're like, "Man, this worth way more than that because I already got the systems. I just want your clients, so I put you into my ecosystem. Man, this is about to take off." So you acquire this company. What are the next steps? Because I think a lot of people, that's a hot thing right now. Hey, I'm thinking about acquiring, or a lot of the marketing agency owners may be older, so they're looking to get out. What are some of the things that once you actually acquired, you either didn't know, or you were like, yeah, this was perfect. I got the perfect moves already in place?
We're still early on in the journey. However, one of the things that I immediately wanted to set up was new customer acquisition. Because we stopped doing the marketing agency work, right? And we were dishing people out. The first thing I started doing, I started booking sales appointments on their calendar and seeing what the journey looks like. So first thing that I started doing was we just sent out a small email blast like, hey, we do marketing services, schedule a call, boom, in our Slack channel. New call. And then I would have the operator record those videos. And then she has a team of 7. But I would have the operator record those videos, and I would guide and coach them on that journey. So now I'm coaching them on the sales. But what's cool for me, man, is it only takes 1 hour a week for me to run that business. Everything's in operations, and I have another team member on my direct staff that is checking in on the journey and making sure that it's in alignment to what we discussed. But it's all about sales for us right now at this stage. So the first thing that we did was we filled up their sales calendar with sales opportunities. At the top of the year, we got them new revenue from our side in addition to what they were already doing, and coached them a little bit on sales and gave them content and curriculums and SOPs that we already had in our agency.
Smart move. Okay. Ooh, there's so many ways we can go. All right, I'm going to recap while I try to figure out my next question. So we were an agency. We get mentorship. They say you need to switch it up. Epic phone call happens. You decide right then, I'm going to start switching the model. We slowly transition to the SaaS model. Now we're running SaaS. SaaS has helped us to invest into different opportunities. We have a real estate portfolio that's constantly growing. Now we have multiple streams of income. Now, one of the things I want to jump into, because we're already here, talking about being a minority. Now, I think Go High Level actually did a really good job at having different people on the stage. So shout out to them for that as well. But like you said, you and I both know, and I can say this from going to FHL, the GHL event, different conferences, like on stage, you will rarely see somebody that looks like you. I think it's fair to say in the agency space, it's mainly ran by your Middle Eastern counterparts. I don't know why. And ran also by your Caucasian counterparts. We can say white people here. Y'all know we love y'all. So as a minority, I don't know if I want to say how did you get on the stage, because I know that's more connection and doing the work, but what inspired you to be the one to end up on stage so that you could get up there and share what you share? Let's go that route.
To rephrase the question is, what inspired me to get up on the stage to share?
See, I don't like it when you said it like that. That sounds too basic. Not seeing people that look like us get on stage, you being one to get on the stage, what do you think that does? Not just for you or for other people, but just in general, because it's hard. Like, to be fair, if we're going to make it super technical, we already know slavery happened X amount of time. Then there's Jim Crow. So we're already playing catch up. So what may be normal to other races or demographics, for us, it's like, oh man, it was one black person on the stage the whole time. Everybody else don't look like me. So for you to change that, what have you seen? Have people gravitated to you more because you're a minority? Is it harder for your brand to get recognized? Is it harder for you to work with clients? Do some clients not want to work with you? Like, just get into a little bit more of what your experience has been like as a minority in a space that's not dominated or balanced, so to speak.
So I won't attribute my skin color or my complexion to a lack of opportunities or a lack of sales, because at the end of the day, what creates sales, what creates opportunities is the value that you give, because the value that you give will override the complexion. And there you may need to, if you're a black person, you may need to give more value to override the lack of having complexion. I remember I met with a gentleman who I host seminars. Part of my business model is hosting seminars. So since 2016, I've been hosting in-person events. I've had Les Brown be a part of my events, Tony Robbins in 2018, and countless different names. Now, I remember I had a gentleman on my stage one time. His business at the time was doing over $1 billion in top line revenue in the credit card processing space. And he's a black man. And I remember him telling me his journey. And he would tell me like, hey, I remember he was telling me, this is a gentleman who would mentor me and coach me early on. Still to this day, I remember I would call him and ask him about advice on relationship, advice on business, and so on and so forth. And he would tell me that he would go into a closet in the beginning of his career, and he would say, "Hey, my name is Albert. How can I help you?" Like picking up the calls, changing the tone of his voice. And he would tell me this, and I was like, "Why do you have to do that?" He's like, I don't have the complexion for connection. So if you look at his website, you look at his business, you're like, hey man, you don't even know that a black person runs it. Same thing with Calendly.com.
Yeah.
It wasn't
a baby.
It wasn't until recently where he started promoting his face and showing his face when he got big enough, right? When Calendly got big enough, it's by black gentlemen. And inside of my business, I started noticing that, or in this industry, there weren't a lot of black people in this space that were creative.
Why do you think that is? Maybe that's the better question, because I can't get the wording right. But why do you think that there is not a lot of black people in marketing? Because if anybody know how to market, we most definitely know how to market.
I think there's a couple of factors. Number one is the community us. We need to change our mindset. Like I just shared with you, I'm already running a multi 6-figure a month business, and I'm having difficulties in changing my mindset to a mindset that is going to create actual value. A marketing agency, you can sell, for example, if you were to sell a marketing agency, let's say you got a marketing agency to $1 million in top line revenue a year. You may sell that revenue at 0.5x revenue. That means if you're making $1 million, the most you could sell it for is $500,000, $500,000. But in the software space, you can sell your software at 6x revenue. So that means if you're making $1 million, both of the businesses making the same amount of money, I could sell my software at $6 million. And if you go part of a portfolio, you can get upwards of 12x. If you're part of a portfolio and the strength of the recurring revenue is that valuable, you can get upwards of 12x. So that means if your business is making $1 million top line revenue, you could sell that business for $12 million in software. But in marketing agency, you can only sell it for maybe $500,000. But really, you're probably going to get $80,000, $90,000, $150,000 for that business, because that revenue is not sustainable. It has to be a mindset shift. And I believe in our culture, in our community, we're ingrained with this hustler mentality. Our moms had it, our dads had it, our uncles had it, our cousins had it. We have to hustle. What we saw on TV was hustle, hustle, hustle. Hustle hard. Like that's what we saw when we were growing up in the black community. However, when I think about the black business owner, for me, in my journey, it's the man with the earrings, with the nice car, rolling up in jeans and a hoodie, making business moves. That's who I idolized when I was growing up. I remember my first mentor. I'm the youngest T-Mobile franchise, Cameron. I don't know if you knew that. I'm the youngest T-Mobile franchise. At 19 years old, I opened up my first location. I made my first $1 million by 21, and I had 4 locations with T-Mobile brands. And this was about 10 years ago. I left that industry to start my marketing agency and to start speaking and so on and so forth. So that's my journey. My mentor in the T-Mobile space, in the cell phone industry when I was in telecom, was He was a black man. He was one of the top master dealers for T-Mobile. And I remember seeing him. He pulled up in his Jaguar, got his earrings in, bald head. But I was like, yo, this dude's dope. This is who I want to be like. Then a couple of years ago, when I got into the marketing agency, there was an opportunity with a company. I'm not going to say their name here, but there was an opportunity with a company that is competitors to Salesforce. I was their me being a young black man in marketing, didn't understand the business. I was their competition to Salesforce. I was their company's number 2 top influencer affiliate. So I brought them the most SaaS customers to their business, not understanding what I was doing. I was getting the front end money, and I was so excited to get that front end hustle money, and they were getting back end residuals every single month. And every single month, I had to go get them new customers as part of my marketing campaigns. I had to go get them new customers so I can get more money on the front end. And then if there was a month I brought in no customers, then I don't make any money. But they were making money every single month on the customers I brought them months and years prior. When I left my marketing agency, I had to have a conversation with this organization, and it got all the way up to the CEO. Like the CEO was like, "Hey, hold on," and they offered me more money, and I just went to my wife and I was like, "Babe, I don't know. I don't know if I can walk away from this. This is a decent amount of pie over here." Then the CEO of this organization, $100 million organization, backed by Goldman Sachs, the CEO hops on Zoom with me and he says, "Andy, love you to stay, and we want to offer you equity in the company, and we believe that we can take it public. The company is currently private. We have over 100,000 users. We have 600 employees in our company, and we are on track to end up going public. I'm willing to give you shares in the company, and I believe I can get those shares to $13. And if you make that 13, if we get it to $13 together, you can get X and X." And I remember I was like, oh shoot, this is a different opportunity right here. This is rather than me going and get my own SaaS and so on and so forth. And I remember going to my wife and I'm like, "Babe, do I want to go by myself? Do I want to start this thing? Do I want to start this thing by myself?" But I had education and mentorship over years. I mean, between 2018 to 2021, I spent a lot of time with them. They flew me out. I was getting coaching, mindset. There was a point in time where we ended up doing the customers that we acquired. We ended up doing their onboarding and retention to support them, and we learned about SaaS throughout the whole journey. But my mindset was still on get the 40,000, get the upfront money. But in this journey of getting coaching, 2 things. Number 1, I was mesmerized by the black man that in my hood that was a hustler. That he too was a hustler. He was just a very successful hustler. Okay, he was always getting the front end money. It wasn't until recently now where he invested in real estate and now getting the back end money. We all learn how to hustle. That's our natural skill set as black individuals. We know how to hustle. We know how to get the bag, but we don't know how to keep getting the bag without working. The difference in the community is if we're all getting that bag, we're going to run ourselves dry until we age out. Like we're going to keep hustling every single month until we're just too old and we don't have a retirement. Find out how many black entrepreneurs have retirement. Find out how many black entrepreneurs can have 6 months off in their business and not have to work, but still make income. You're a business owner. No, you're not. You're a entrepreneur. You're a self-employed business owner. That's really what you are. You're self-employed if you're in that hustler mentality. Today, if my SaaS makes $50,000 a month and I have systems and operations and processes to keep and retain those customers, I don't have to work for the next 6 months, and my business is still making $50,000 a month every single month, netting 45 to 60% on the top line because everything's automated. You're just hiring people to just keep track of the customers. It's a different mindset, my friend. And I think that's what we as a community really need to understand when we look at businesses. A company making $100,000 a month but spends $90,000 to manage that, to run that business, is not a successful company compared to a company making $50,000 a month. It only costs $20,000 to run that business in that scenario.
That's math. Okay, that's good. Okay, so hopefully y'all understood and I think this is a super important thing to talk about because I'm big on diversity for the sole reason that we can, if we utilize all these different perspectives, us as a whole can elevate and us as individuals can. And so I think that's so key to talk about mindset, perspective. the images you grew up seeing, the music you grew up listening to can have such a serious effect on which path you go to. But I know my mom told me, Cameron, you need to have two mentors. One need to look like you and the other one don't, because they're going to give you two completely different perspectives, and you need to be aware of both. And even in my company, like one of my newest mentors, because I was like, bro, you got to take me on. And he was like, sure, no problem. A guy that owns, multiple companies, makes over 10 million, but he's willing to give that time because in his world, like, hey, bro, you want to learn? And I think that's what we have to find. And I think to your point, we also have to be open to these different fields. Like you said, I'm in marketing. What is SaaS? Like, what do you mean? So being willing to go and learn about it and put in the work to even grow it and invest in it. And I think we just got to continue to just open our brains, open our minds, get around people who are already doing it at a top tier or high level. Oh, that's ironic. High level. So there's that. So let's keep moving. Okay. Shout out to you for breaking that down for us. Now, one of my favorite questions to ask is, I think I want to say it this way. You talked about having a team, and I know some of them may be international, but what are some of the things you look at as you grow your team? Because managing one person is not the same as managing 2 or 5 or 10. So what has that been like in managing a team and getting everybody in the right direction and staying in alignment with that?
So I was a terrible leader. I was a completely terrible for such a long period of time, because I said, why aren't the folks doing what I'm doing, like how I work? And someone said to me one day, he said, if they're going to do and operate your business like how you do, then why wouldn't they just be the business owner like you are? And I said, so what's the alternative? And he said, they're not going to care as much about it as your business. You need to give them a reason to care about it. And so that's what made a shift. In my first business, in the cell phone business, we call that company Progression Wireless. And the reason why is because of what we've been talking about here. I saw the successful hustler. You see, I'm from the East Coast, Rhode Island, smallest state in the country. And I was raised in the smallest city in that state, 1 square mile, 1 gas station, 1 high school, no colleges, 2 middle schools. That's where I'm from, full of drug dealers and gangbangers and so forth. And in seeing this environment, I'm thinking, this is the world. This is what the world looks like. It wasn't until I got exposure to what the rest of the world actually looks like. And it was because one of the individuals at the cell phone store, at the cell phone dealership, he was the second in command, and he came to me and he said, Andy, like, why are you going to college, man? You need to run a business and start hustling. So I totally forgot the fucking question that you asked. But I went back into
growing the team.
Well, yeah. So he's telling me how to hustle, and then in this journey with running that cell phone business, Progression Wireless, my thought process was, I'm gonna change my hood. I'm gonna show people how to be an entrepreneur, and I'm gonna have my business be like a transition system to help people create success in their life. So what we would do in my company, we would listen to motivational speakers. I would inspire them. And I'm like, this is how I'm going to change my hood. So that's why I was aggressively trying to grow this business. I had a different purpose. I ended up making my first $1 million by accident, but I had a different purpose, which was really trying to change my environment. And then one day, one of my team members said to me, my second in command, he said, Andy, some people just come here to work just for a job. They just come here for a paycheck. And I said, what do you mean? We're trying to change our lives. We're trying to progress here. He says, some people don't give a fuck about that mission, Andy. They come here for work. They just apply for a job, got a job, and they get paid every 2 weeks. And that's when it went downhill for me, because my mission was quickly abrupted when I started realizing that was the truth. So I had this resentment that people didn't care about success as much as I did. And that led me to just being an ineffective leader, where I would just tell people what to do without giving them understanding of why, so on and so forth. The difference between having a team and not having a team is you can go fast by yourself. You can do a lot quicker, completely alone. But when you have a team, you got to be a little bit strategic. And it all starts with one thing, a vision. That was the difference. That was a game changer for me in my first business, where my leadership was ineffective. We had 14 employees between the 4 stores. And then today we have 15 core people, and then I have over 80 different partners that help me build and work on my SaaS and help take care of customers and so forth, that I lead this whole entire group. So it's nearly 100 people that are behind Progretta today. And that's why the Slack notification keeps going off, because they started working an hour and a half ago. However, they all have two things in common. Number one, they understand the vision of what we're creating in our SaaS. We're building a $100 million portfolio. That's the number one vision that everyone is aligned to. That's what everyone, that's number two. Number one is that we're building a $100 million portfolio. Number two is that everyone understands the value that they bring into this $100 million portfolio. And they all, in addition to that, they all understand of the value that they're going to receive from this, not just monetarily, but the value that they're going to receive from building this $100 million portfolio. Those two things has been the driving factors that gets everyone on the same ship, everyone on the same boat. So my first business, I went from a journey of like, it's everyone, you should do what I tell you to do, compared to now is, hey, everyone, this is where we're going. We're building a $100 million company. Who's in? Who wants to be a part of this? And everyone raised their hand. I led the vision, and I let them know the benefit that they're all going to receive as we progress towards this target. And that's the difference that I found in leadership, that you got to be very strategic in. Vision and what they're going to receive as a benefit.
Okay. Now, let's go here, because you've done this multiple times at this point. What are the top 3 things you would tell a new agency or business owner to not do in order to get to their first $1 million?
To not do?
Don't you do this if you want to make $1 million.
Don't have 150 products or 150 offers. So don't limit your offers down to 3. Down to 3, 2 ideally, 1 the best.
Okay. Second one.
The second thing to not do.
Not to do.
Don't try to do everything yourself. Get it off your plate and delegate, and get it off your plate and automate. So don't try to do everything yourself. Don't send the emails yourself. Don't leave voicemails. Like you gotta really take care of your time. I don't want you, if you're trying to make $1 million, don't even leave a voicemail. Get that off your plate, delegate that. Hire someone else to call people on your behalf, and have an army support you in making your first $1 million.
Number 3. Yeah, good question.
Think bigger than $1 million. If you really understand what $1 million is, I remember in 2015, I thought $1 million was a big number. 2014, I wrote down my $1 million target. 2015, going into 16, I hit that target, and that I ended up realizing that I was only 1,000 mistakes. $1 million is $1,000 times 1,000 mistakes, and you can make a mistake spending $1,000 bucks. You can make a mistake spending $10,000. So $1 million is a small target. Think bigger than $1 million. Go for 10 million and see what you can create.
All right, let's go rapid fire right here. What has been your best investment to date that's produced the greatest ROI?
The best investment to date was investing into High Level.
Shout out to High Level. All right. What are some things that you and wifey do? Dang, that can't be a fast one. I was about to say to connect, but I'd rather ask, with you two both being business owners, how do you guys make it a priority to connect throughout the week?
We connect every single day. I'm home right now. I'm in the home office right now, and I'm about to go upstairs right after this podcast, spend a little bit of time with her. So we connect every single day, but we make it intentional to travel together. So this last week, we did a staycation here in Vegas. This week, in 2 days, we're going to Portland. Next week, we're going to Dallas. So we make it as much as I travel, she comes with.
Love it. Okay. If you could go back in time and you had 30 seconds, what would you tell your college or high school self, knowing every single thing you know now, being like current, present day Andy? What would you go back and tell them?
Figure out a way to create income on a monthly recurring basis by selling something one time. Sell something one time where you get paid every single month from it, and build a portfolio of different people paying you every single month for the work that you did one time. Andy, if you do this over the next 5 to 10 years, not only will you become a multimillionaire, but you wouldn't have to work for the rest of your life. like your family does. You can do this. Find a product that you can sell one time and get income every single month from it and build that portfolio.
How has your definition of success changed from when you started in 17 to present day?
My definition of success in 17 was more money. My definition of success now is more money in less time.
Ooh, okay. What would be 2 or 3 things that you do on a consistent, maybe it's daily or or weekly? What are 2 or 3 things that you would contribute to your success?
Working out, waking up at 4 o'clock in the morning every single day, number 1. Number 2, asking God to be a part of this journey every single day, evoking God. And then number 3 is getting mentorship, getting someone to guide you and who's already been there.
All right, last question. What has being a business owner taught you about Andy the person?
That the business as well as babe, he wants to know how we're connecting. He wanted to know how.
Oh, we're about to get a surprise guest. Let's go.
You want to come on there?
Not really.
But her voice could be heard. He said, how do we connect as business owners?
Because y'all are both successful.
How do me and wifey connect? The fact that we run all these businesses.
Through the business?
No. Just the fact that we run these businesses.
Yeah.
How do we stay connected on a personal level?
Oh, well, we schedule intentional time like this last weekend.
Schedule intentional time.
Yeah.
What else?
Well, we do actually listen to a lot of the same content. So sometimes we nerd out with like podcasts and YouTube stuff. So we do have that in common, that we generally both like business, I think. So I think that's part of being connected as well. Like we live and breathe business.
So we number 1, schedule out intentional time. So we put on the calendar like the day after tomorrow. She put on my calendar. She said birthday weekend. That means none of my staff can add something to the calendar. She does that on purpose, right? And then we listen to the same content, which allows us to dialogue and have that conversation later on in the evening after I come home.
Well, tell her we'll have to do a part 2 with both of y'all so we can go into that.
I gotta go fix my nail.
All right. The last question that you asked, Cam.
You already answered it. What has the being a business owner taught you about yourself? Like Andy the person.
That all of it coincides together. The health, the money, the business, it's all in the same boat. How you do something in the business, how you're gonna do it in your personal life. It's not and it's not even about balance. This idea of balance is not, because balance means that I work 5 hours in my business, I spend 5 hours at home. That's what balance is. It's equal on all these sides. My thing is about creating harmony. So what has business taught me in general is how to create harmony with all the other areas of my life, including fitness. So I figured out a way to make it work. So for example, one of the things that I do is I hired a coach. So I wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning. By 5:30 in the morning, I'm already in the gym working out, getting my workout in. By 7:30, I'm out. By 8:50, I'm already in the office working with my team. So my team doesn't ever feel a bump. My wife is sleeping during the time that I woke up and I'm in the gym. So by the time I come home, most people are like, well, go to the gym after work. I come home right after work. I'm spending time with my wife, and my wife is like, hey, like I worked out already, because she works out during the day. So we're able to have this harmony of this flow that works, that every night around 6:30, we're together, we're spending time. Every morning, I give her a kiss, so on and so forth. I'm out the door by 4 o'clock, by 4:30, and it's harmony. And that's what business has taught me, man, how to create harmony in all the areas of my life.
That's a wonderful answer. All right, y'all. He got to keep going to say the word. Plus, he's going to go up there and spend time with Bae. Now, before we let you go, you got to tell the people, if they want to connect with you, if they want to get mentorship, because you mentioned that earlier, how can they find you? What website? What's your favorite social media? Tell the people what you do, just in case they tuned out at the beginning. What do you do? Who you serve? Name a company, all that. This is your space to tell all of it.
First and foremost, go to Andy Audate, ANDYAUDATE, Andy Audate, AUDATE.com. And when you get there, you'll learn more about how you can create monthly recurring revenue. I think the freedom that monthly recurring revenue has created for me, man, I'm just sharing this with the world at this point, because when I started understanding the value of monthly recurring revenue, if you can create that in your life, if you can leave your job, I was just talking to my brother yesterday, and he said, Andy, I'm ready to jump in on this boat with monthly recurring revenue. So it's not like a multi-level marketing company or anything like that. I just share with you how to sell software to your friends, your family, your customers, people who are interested in already having software. And then I teach you how to get income on a monthly recurring basis. So my brother's game plan right now, he's in transition of leaving his job, working a corporate 9-to-5 job, and making monthly recurring revenue through software. So I teach you how to do that. AndyAudate.com. Once again, that's AndyAudate.com. And I'm Andy Audate on all social media platforms.
Favorite platform in case they're like, I want to talk to you today?
Instagram.
All right, cool. So y'all heard it from him. Look, this is a guy who is doing it at a high level. He's made the $1 million. He's made the mistakes. He knows the difference in that scarcity mindset versus abundance, the importance of mentorship, being a minority and still excelling, and just being that much more on point. So there's so many good gems here, y'all. I hope y'all go back, listen to this episode, share it with somebody who you think needs to make that transition, maybe out of the marketing agency space and more in the SaaS. Maybe they're a minority and they're discouraged because they're like, I don't see that many people like us, or I want more connections of people that look like us, just so I can get that constant encouragement and they know how I feel. This is the episode to do that. So make sure you share it. Hey, I've talked to Andy. He's a cool guy. He's not like he's going to be like, who are you? You're a weirdo. So reach out to him, connect with him. Most importantly, check out the mentorship programs. You see he's at the level now, like he said, where he's about helping other people to build that same freedom that he's now experiencing. So with all that being said, man, thank you so much for coming on here. Tell the wifey, y'all gonna have to come back and do like a double episode where we get to talk about working with your spouse. What does that look like? So get her on board. If you need me to talk to her, I will, but you probably have a better shot. But we appreciate you for coming, man. Any last words?
Hey, just progress daily. That's all it is. It's a game of not perfection. It's a game of progression. Just get better every single day.
All right, y'all. Until the next episode, we're going to try to find y'all some more guests like Andy, top tier people who have done it the hard way and now can show you guys a better way that can teach you from their mistakes and are currently doing it at a high level. So until the next episode, everybody stay safe. Take care of yourselves. Peace.
Yes, sir.